What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another daily news show, and we're gonna talk about Koopmeiners being a flop because that's not what I'm saying. That's what the fan base is saying, or part of the fan base, and the media is almost echoing at this moment in time. I will talk about an interesting stat that means absolutely nothing or something. You can decide. And we're going to talk about, multiple things about Koopmeiners as well, and Koopmeiners in general, why this is poor, and also I'll top it off by why I will never bring in a price tag to talk about a player. So that's what we're going to do. Before we do that, as always, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification, and let's talk about Koopmeiners apparently already being a flop. So, he's not playing well. Like the big takeaway from August, I don't know, when did the season kick off? The 15th, the 18th, so a couple of days before that. Until now, it's not been high level football from Koopmeiners, not even close. Like that, I will 100% agree with. He's not been playing well, and we know that. We cannot deny that. We cannot act like he has been playing well. We cannot act like it's just one game here, it's one game there, so on, so on. Like, he's not been playing well. Now, the criticism kind of exploded post Milan, because post Milan, the talk was heavy. Like, the talk of he's a flop became kind of serious after the Milan game, where everybody picked up and said, you know what, this is not good. It's 60 million. It's not gonna be what we need to see, what it is, so on, so on. Now, a little context before I go into the interesting stat or not, you will decide in a sec. A bit of context, excuse me, to the Koopmeiners situation is that I'm gonna talk from my perspective, because I know everybody is like, okay, another Atalanta flop. When we signed him, I said two things: we overpaid. That's one. And two, I also said that I liked Koopmeiners before he joined Atalanta. So as that, I thought he was excellent there, and he excelled even more at Atalanta. So I will not use the thing of it's Atalanta system, because I've watched him before at AZ, and he was excellent as well at AZ in my opinion. So that's a non-factor for me. The second one is the price tag. That is also a non-factor for me, because that's not on the player. That's on, again, a club. If we sign, I don't know, like if we sign Skriniar, for example, let's say in January we pay to get Skriniar 25 million. We will all say absolutely bullshit. If Skriniar goes out there and he looks like a 5 million euro player, I'm not gonna say, hey, you cost 25 million, because I know you're not worth 25 million. I know Koopmeiners not worth 60 million, so I don't expect like that 60 million. Like, we overpaid. That's two. I do expect much more. 100% I do expect much more. The positioning yesterday or against Milan obviously is a quote unquote a valid excuse, but that was not the issue against Milan. He was very sloppy on the ball. His pass accuracy was horrible. His win-loss ratio in terms of duels was, extremely sad. It was non-existent, the winning part. So those are things that have nothing to do with the position. He looks out of shape. And again, that's one of the excuse. That's one of the things I will say, is that he came in extremely late. He came a couple of days before we played Roma, having trained on his own for almost 3 to 4 weeks at Atalanta, which is not good to begin with. And then he missed about, 4 weeks, a month, with the rib injury. And he missed a lot of training sessions back then as well. He is not going to look 100% fit. I make my peace with that at this moment in time. Now, is that an excuse to lose some duels here and there? Yeah, 100%. But if you lose them all, and on top of that, you're absolutely bad in terms of when it comes to passing and all those things, then it's nothing really to do with fitness. It's more than that. I said a couple of weeks, he looks lost on the pitch. He looks lost. Now, let me bring up a stat really quickly before we talk about further on. So the stat is like this: with Koopmeiners on the field, for more than a half, so at least a half basically. We have 0 losses. We average 2.11 points per game without him on the pitch. We only average 0.75 points per game, and we haven't won a single game. That's interesting. And the only game we lost was without Koopmeiners. Now, that's an interesting stat and a non so interesting stat as well, because it's a team sport. You have 11 players on the pitch, and I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 1 sub as well each game. So it's not really accurate in my opinion. What Stuttgart, for example, we lost that game. We would have lost that game with Koopmeiners on the pitch. We were not one player away from having a good game against Stuttgart. We just got outplayed, from minute 1 to minute 90, and that had nothing to do with Koopmeiners. You could have had Cristiano Ronaldo up top. We would have gotten outplayed for that game 100%. So that's the context I want to add. However, there was a period where Koopmeiners was gone, and I was, and a lot of people were like, okay, we're missing him here. Something is missing. The link, whatever. Even if he wasn't playing at a high level, things were just missing 100%, So the stat is interesting or not so interesting. You decide. But with Motta, it's very simple. For Motta, he's a key player for many reasons. One is because, well, he trusts him. He wanted him, so he believes in him. So he's going to use him, But he's going to need to unlock him. He's not taking shots. He's missing chances. Or before the Milan game, obviously. He was missing chances. And he's not getting involved enough, in my opinion. He's just not getting involved. He needs to work on that. You need to get him more involved, higher up. That's one. And two, the confidence and whatever you want to call it, that needs to come from Koopmeiners. He's going to need to step up. He's going to need to flip that switch and be like, okay, because it's good for Motta to believe in you and so on, so on. But at one point, you're going to need to repay him because fans have eyes. Fans are going to look at this and be like, this is not good enough. And I agree. It's not good enough. I'm not going to call it a flop because I think a lot of people are calling it a flop because of the price tag. So, well, you're on the wrong spot, to talk about that, because I will not call a player a flop based on the price tag because, again, that's a club. I will call a player a flop if I think they are better than what they are showing. Like, if a player like Cabal flop, I will never call Cabal a flop because I don't expect a lot of Cabal. So for me, he cannot flop in my eyes. A player like Koopmeiners, he can flop because I expect a lot from Koopmeiners, but right now it's way too soon. I do agree, he's not playing well. We need him to play well. We really, really desperately need him to play well. So he's going to play catch up. He's going to need to play catch up with his fitness, but also his confidence. That's on you. You need to have a good game now, and you need to build on that. However, it feels like that good game is just not around the corner. It's not a given, So let's see. Maybe at Villa Park, he will have a fantastic game. That would be amazing because we need it. We'll preview that later today. That's going to be a pressure game for Juve, like a big-time pressure game. So we'll talk about that later tonight. But for now, let me know what you think about Koopmeiners, the situation in general, all that thing. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will speak to you guys later tonight to preview the Villa game. Ciao.